the 90s began, the wrestling world got its first glimpse of Mick Foley as the menacing Cactus Jack.
Mick's hardcore style was one that he'd put his body on the line and do things that 300-pound men aren't supposed to do.
ECW opened the doors to the one place Mick had always dreamed of reaching, the WWE. A new persona was unleashed on the WWE and on all of mankind.
Where was the crazy psycho mankind willing to go? And is he willing to go further than the dead man?
It was the most terrifying thing you've ever seen.
It was really important to me that I make this character feel as real as he could.
There are wrestlers who become legends because they look like superheroes. There are wrestlers who become legends because they move like superhumans. And then there's Mick Foley, a man who became a legend because he was willing to go through more than anyone else. He was willing to suffer more than anyone else has ever dared. And because he connected with the fans in a way that no one in the history of wrestling has ever done before. He wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the strongest, he didn't have the bodybuilder physique or the Hollywood smile, but he had something that was far more powerful. He had heart. He had pain tolerance beyond comprehension, and he had a creative mind filled with chaos, humor, and darkness.
Well, Mick Foley comes in and talks to Vince, and they have a collaborative effort creatively. And the Mankind character is created, a dangerous, psychopathic type guy.
He gave everything. Literally, his body, his teeth, blood, bones, his memory, and years off of his life just to make fans feel something real.
He throws him up on the other side. That's it, he's dead. Mankind, what is he gonna do? No! Oh, the Big Show threw Mankind off the stage. Oh!
This is the story of Mick Foley, the man behind Cactus Jack, Mankind, Dude Love, and himself. A man who transformed suffering into art and became, without a question, one of the most beloved wrestlers who ever lived. Long before he was a star, Mick Foley was a kid from Long Island who fell in love with wrestling after watching Jimmy Superfly Snuka dive off the top of a steel cage.
And that's a moment it's like indelibly etched in my mind, as it is in so many people's mind.
That moment changed him forever. He knew that without hesitation, he wanted to be a wrestler.
So when I was 18 or 19, I made this decision that I was going to create a style for myself. The viewers, they could look back time and time again on their videotape and say, I don't know how he does that.
But there was a problem. He didn't look the part. He wasn't muscular, he wasn't glamorous, and he didn't fit the mold of an 80s wrestling star. So people laughed at his dream, coaches dismissed him, and promoters just ignored him. But Mick Foley believed in himself when no one else would. He trained harder than anyone, wrestling for little-known independent promotions, traveling for almost no money. Most of the time, he would have to sleep in his car. He would have to dress in janitor closets because he couldn't afford hotel rooms. Every night, he sacrificed more of his body because he knew that he didn't have anything else to offer at the time. Nobody was going to hand him the fame. He was going to have to work for it. So he decided that he would earn it through pain. And pain would become his greatest storytelling tool.
Most of the people in this gym, wrestling is like a dream. And there's very few people out there in the world who are really doing what they want to do.
Cactus Jack was Mick Foley's first great creation, a wild, unpredictable, savage brawler who looked like he just crawled out of a war zone. In Japan, he became infamous for death matches that included barbed wire, C4 explosions, thumbtacks, fire, nails, and even glass. Crowds watched in shock, not because of how violent it was, but because Mick Foley took so much punishment, the kind of punishment that no human should survive. And he did it with pride, he did it with a smile on his face, and with passion like no one else. And he did it also with purpose.
You know, I don't even think Cactus Jack knows if he's getting hurt or not.
And he took some unreal risk with maneuvers out of the ring where it looked like it killed him. And the next thing you know, Mick is still coming at you.
In WCW, Cactus Jack feuded with Sting and Vader in brutal matches that left fans terrified for his life.
Yeah, with a clothesline. Oh my! Here he comes. Oh God!
His match with Vader in Germany was so brutal that it became infamous. A powerbomb on the concrete floor that knocked Foley unconscious.
His eyes are open. This match is over. He's not moving. He's not going to get up.
And the moment of the match was when he got caught up in the ring ropes and a piece of his ear tore completely off.
I felt back and, whoa, that bad boy's gone. It's gone.
But he still didn't quit. He finished the match. Wrestlers backstage couldn't believe the lengths that he would go to. They said that he had a pain threshold that didn't seem human, but more importantly, he made fans care. They saw a man who fought like his life depended on it. Because in many ways, it did. When WCW stopped believing in him, Mick Foley, he went to ECW and something special happened. He cut some of the greatest promos in wrestling history.
Problem with being hardcore is, by the very nature of the name, we give of our bodies, of our hearts.
Speaking from the heart, blending madness and heartbreak in a way that no wrestler has ever done before. It all felt so real, like a different kind of real. Paul Heyman once said that Mick Foley was the Shakespeare of wrestling.
We were shooting the very first Mick Foley Cactus Jack villain promos, and we knew we struck gold 5 seconds after the camera went on. It was like nothing. It was a transformation.
Able to make audiences laugh, cry, or fall silent in awe. And ECW fans saw not just a hardcore wrestler who was perfect for the ECW brand, but he was also a genius storyteller. He proved that violence meant nothing without any emotion. What's the reason for this happening? And ECW fans, who are known for being brutal and unforgiving at times, chanted his name with love. For the first time, Mick Foley felt like he didn't need blood to be respected. When Foley arrived in the WWE, fans thought that they were getting a violent madman. Instead, they got something even deeper. They got Mankind.
Maybe I could have two different pieces of music, an entrance theme and an exit theme.
Weighing 287 pounds, Mankind!
A broken soul living in boiler rooms, wearing leather masks and pulling out his own hair, talking to voices that only he could hear. This wasn't a gimmick. This was pure art. Mick Foley took trauma, pain, and emotional suffering and turned them into one of the most compelling characters that was ever created. And at the same time, with a character that in some ways could be so scary, he became one of the biggest underdog heroes in history. His rivalry with The Undertaker became legendary.
Mick was put to the test right away against The Undertaker.
I don't know if he was intimidated by that challenge, but I thought he handled it superbly.
Especially the Hell in a Cell match at the King of the Ring 1998, where Foley was thrown off the top of the cell and crashed through the announce table. And then later, he was chokeslammed through the roof of the cell. He lost teeth, he separated a shoulder, he nearly died. And guess what? He still finished the match. Jim Ross screamed on commentary, "Good God Almighty, they've killed him. As God is my witness, he is broken in half."
So in my mind's eye, I'm thinking, well, an average human being cannot live through that ordeal.
The wrestling world had never seen anything like it, and fans realized this wasn't about gore. It was about a man that was proving he would sacrifice everything for wrestling. And that night made Mick Foley immortal. Not all of Foley's characters were dark and violent. Some were actually pure joy. Dude Love was the complete opposite of Mankind and Cactus Jack. He wore colorful shirts, he danced his way to the ring, he had a dreamer, kind of like a hippie energy to him, he threw up peace signs, and he had the total 60s vibe. It was the character that Mick Foley created as a kid while filming wrestling home videos. Fans loved him because it all felt so real. It was Foley showing the world his true heart instead of his scars. It proved that he wasn't a one-note performer. He could be funny, he could be charming, he could be entertaining, he could be heartwarming, and at the same time, he could also be scary, and he could be violent and unhinged. The range between his personas was amazing. Most wrestlers struggled to make one character believable. Mick Foley made 4 iconic characters beloved. It proved that he wasn't a one-note performer. He could be funny, he could be charming, he could be entertaining, he could be heartwarming, he could be unhinged, he could be scary, he could do it all. That was the specialty of what Mick Foley brought to wrestling. The range between his personas was amazing. Most wrestlers struggled to make one character believable, but Mick Foley was doing it for multiple characters. Despite his pain, Foley became one of the most popular wrestlers in WWE. His unlikely friendship with The Rock created some of the funniest and most emotional moments in wrestling history.
Chemistry was even better as partners. You couldn't script the stuff.
If you smell don't you ever do that again, jabroni.
Especially with their Rock and Sock Connection segments. Their backstage comedy bits are still quoted 20 years later.
No way The Rock and Mankind is gonna work as a tag team. And then they had like the greatest segment in the history of the WWE.
Fans didn't just watch Mick Foley, they loved him. They loved seeing him on screen. They loved it when he interacted with other people. They saw a bit of themselves in him. He was imperfect, he was overlooked, he was underestimated, and he was fighting for respect. So when he finally won the WWE Championship on January 4th of 1999, defeating The Rock thanks to Stone Cold's interference, the arena exploded. The moment aired the same night that WCW tried to spoil the result by announcing it live, thinking that fans wouldn't care. Instead, guess what happened? Millions of people changed the channel to see what was happening, to watch Mick Foley, Mankind, pick up the title.
I gotta tell you, this feels pretty damn good.
Mick Foley winning the World Championship. Well, it helped shift the momentum in the Monday Night Wars permanently, and it went towards WWE. Many people speak about the importance of The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, but not many people speak about the importance of Mick Foley. He was the one who did that. He created an unforgettable moment, the underdog that no one believed in. But the success, it came with devastating consequences. His body was destroyed. His hips, his knees, his spine, concussions, nerve damage, years of head trauma changed his memory, his balance, and his speech. Doctors told him that he was dangerously close to being permanently paralyzed.
Every once in a while, when I have to walk down more than a couple flights of stairs, I'll say, what have I done to myself? But I'm in pain, and these things apparently don't get better. But this is stuff that I knew as I was launching myself off ring aprons onto concrete. So you don't often hear me complain.
And finally, Mick Foley, he retired because he had given every last piece of himself to the wrestling industry. Many fans, many wrestlers have called him the toughest man that they've ever met. Stone Cold said that Foley earned respect like nobody else. Ric Flair once called him reckless, but later admitted that he was wrong and called him a true legend. The Undertaker cried speaking about how Foley made his career better. Triple H said that Foley pushed him to become elite. The Rock called him the best guy that I ever worked with.
And he raised the bar in terms of taking punishment and pain. It was a pleasure to work with him and to be his partner.
Even fans who love blood and violence will tell you that Mick Foley's true power was his emotional connection to the fans. He made people feel something real. And that is the rarest skill in wrestling. Mick Foley changed wrestling. He changed perception, he changed storytelling, he changed character psychology. He proved that you don't need muscles to matter in the WWE. You don't need to have a perfect body to inspire millions. You don't need to be invincible to be a hero. He was willing to break himself so that others could rise. He helped build up superstars by working with them. Stars like The Rock, Triple H, Randy Orton, and Edge. He made all of them look even better in the ring. He sacrificed his own body to make everyone else better. He may not have had the longest list of championships, but he earned something far more valuable: love, respect, and a legacy that any legend would be proud of. after everything that he lost, Mick Foley is still there, writing, giving back, acting, laughing, telling stories where he can, showing up on podcasts, showing up to wrestling get-togethers, and reminding everyone that kindness is not a weakness. Mick Foley is living proof that legends are not defined by perfection, they are defined by soul, courage, sacrifice, and also connection. So now I ask you guys, where does Mick Foley rank among the greatest professional wrestlers of all time? Is he the greatest hardcore wrestler ever? Is he the greatest storyteller? Is he the greatest underdog hero? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like because it really helps the algorithm out, guys. And share this out to all your wrestling fans. And guys, it was a whole lot of fun. Thanks for watching it all the way till the end. And I will catch you on the next one. And also, have a nice day. Bang, bang!